within China that connect to China's vast high-speed rail network. If you hypothetically have the money and the skill to remain silent or undercover, you could board at any of these stations, exit at any of these near Mongolia and run across from there, or exit here at Kunming in China's Yunnan province and attempt to take a bus or run from there towards Thailand. There are plenty of buses that go from Kunming to other Southeast Asian countries, but the problem here is that even if you do somehow make it without getting caught by any of the authorities on a train or a bus, China and Thailand don't share a border, which means that you're going to have to get across the rugged and mountainous terrain of China's Yunnan province, and then get through the remote and dangerous jungles of Laos or Myanmar before finally crossing over the dangerous Mekong River in order to get to safety. In 2017, this is exactly what Park Hyun-woo and his father did. Before they decided to escape North Korea, both of Park's sisters had already made it to freedom in the south and were covertly sending money back to them up in the north. After securing the help of a broker in China, they decided that it was time for them to leave as well. In the dead of a winter night in February 2017, both men crossed the frozen Tumen River into China with a pill full of rat poison to kill themselves with if they got caught. One of the sisters and their handler was waiting on the other side with a van and took them to a nearby safe house in the town of Yanji where they changed clothes. From there, they took a train to Shenyang and then another train to Zhengzhou, followed by yet another train to Beijing. From here, they took a series of buses to Kunming, but as soon as they got there, the Chinese authorities discovered them. Park and his father fled from their bus and became separated, and Park was forced to continue on foot alone through the dense jungles of Laos. Eventually reaching the Mekong River, the final obstacle, Park managed to get across and immediately surrendered himself to the Thai police, who took him into custody and surrendered him to South Korean officials, who flew him back to Seoul in safety. However, his father had been arrested by Chinese police and sent back to a prison near the North Korean border. But for whatever reason, the prison released him, and after getting back into contact with the brokers again, he made his way back down to Vietnam, and from here was able to avoid all detection and finally got on a plane bound for Seoul as well. It had taken him 1.5 years and a journey of over 5,000 miles simply to reach a place a mere 400 miles away from his home. These are the only ways to escape that are available to the average North Korean stranded within the country, and they are all hard and desperate. But sometimes, even getting to South Korea doesn't guarantee you your safety. In 2002, a woman named Jin Gyeong-suk successfully defected over to the south, became a citizen, and married a South Korean man. For their honeymoon in 2004, 2 years later, they decided to travel back to the Chinese-North Korean border to film a documentary on the horrors of the North Korean regime, but while there, unidentified men kidnapped Jin and dragged her back into North Korea, where she was sent back to a concentration camp, tortured, and eventually executed, despite having been a legal South Korean resident. Escaping from North Korea is never easy for anyone. All of these options are difficult, and even if you do make it out, you can still very easily be dragged back against your will and killed. There are countless other stories of heroic people who've defied the odds and escaped through various means. And what makes North Korea so fascinating to many of us outside of it is that it isn't history. You read the horrible accounts of survivors and hear their stories and realize that you're not listening to something from 1940, but something that could have happened yesterday. The Cold War may have ended everywhere else in the world in 1991, but it never ended in Korea. And if anything, it's worse now than it's ever been before. The modern Cold War in Korea is an incredibly complex and controversial story to tell, with countless other escape attempts that are too graphic to cover on YouTube. The development of nuclear bombs, millions of people who believe that Kim Jong-un is a literal god, missiles that can now